flow will associate more objects with the diagram. To continue defining the flow, you have to define the conditions to be evaluated for each one of the connectors leaving the gateway. Is this a customer? Select the connector that leaves the gateway. Is this a customer? And go to Reservation Availability. In its condition rule property, click on the three dots symbol and a condition editor will open for you to define the following: reservation.customer code greater than 0. This condition evaluates if in the reservation transaction the customer code was filled in with some value, and since it's a foreign key, that customer value must exist. If so, the reservation availability task is continued. Evaluation of conditions. A condition can be defined in 3 different ways depending on the complexity of the evaluation to be performed in the gateway. 1. Define a rule for each connector. It's an arithmetic expression that can be defined using attributes of the transactions included in the diagrams, the option we are using, or by evaluating relevant data together with operations. 2. Define a procedure that evaluates all the possible paths. In a gateway's properties, you will find the condition procedure property, where you can associate a procedure that evaluates and determines the path to take. The connector's values will depend on the paths defined by the procedure. 3. Define a procedure for each connector. Instead of choosing the rule option at the connector level, there is the procedure type that allows defining a procedure per path. The last 2 cases apply to complex situations, which shows all the power and expressiveness of GenXs to evaluate the path. A diagram can evaluate the value of an attribute directly. Now, you must configure the other connector that leaves the customer. Is this a customer? And goes to the Add Customer task. In its condition type property, choose the default value as shown. This means that if none of the other connectors of the gateway is met, then this one will be followed. Next, the corresponding application must be associated with the reservation availability task, web object equal the reservation transaction. In the same dialog, assign the reservation code relevant data as you did in the reservation task. If the reservation is available, the process ends. Otherwise, the flow returns to the initial task to change the reservation details. Select the connector that goes from the It's Available gateway to the reservation task. In its condition rule property, enter reservation available equal false. This definition is an evaluation. That is, if the reservation isn't available, it will go back to the task that involves modifying the reservation data. On the other hand, the connector that goes from It's Available gateway to the end of the process must have a connector of the default type. Next, configure the Add Customer task. Web object equal customer transaction. In the same dialog, assign the customer code relevant data. To complete the flow, it's necessary to assign the customer to the reservation. So after inserting the customer, it must be automatically assigned to the reservation. To do so, assign the Assign to Customer procedure to the Assign to Customer task. Configure the following for the Assign to Customer task. Procedure equal to Assign to Customer object. Relevant data, reservation code, and customer code. Save the changes by clicking on Ctrl S. The flow will be shown as below, and all the objects are now associated with each one of the tasks in the flow. In the next video, we'll see the execution of the diagram.